Peace and love, you beautiful miracles of spiritual level of being. Nathan here from a spiritual level of being, and you have a spiritual level of being. And today we're going to be discussing the story of Samson. Now, Samson was credited to have incredible strength. Now, it was said to his strength was given to him by God, and that the source of his strength lied in his long hair. Now, he is credited to have been so strong he ripped a lion in half with his bare hands, and that he killed 1,000 Philistines by himself, and he drank or ate honey out of a lion's corpse. Now, the story of Samson was that he was betrayed, or before this attempted to be deceived by his lover Delilah, a Philistine woman who was bribed by the Philistine rulers, who was trying many times to try find the source of his strength, so that way she could hand him over to the Philistines. Now, from there, he is blinded, tortured, and he asks God for forgiveness. Now, this is due to his pridefulness, as he believed that his strength lied in himself, not with God. Now, he asked God for forgiveness for his strength back one last time, so he could kill all the Philistines by bringing down the temple and crashing them all to death, including himself. Now, he doesn't quite act like a normal Israelite or Hebrew man, as he falls in love with a Philistine woman, as the ancient Israelites would have shunned upon this, as they would have shunned Philistine women, or even, say, a Samaritan. So they were more of a stricter, close-knit community, keep to themselves and look down on outsiders. Now, the story of Samson eating honey out of the lion's corpse, he broke God's commandment, as the Jews aren't meant to approach dead bodies. So he defied God by eating honey out of it. Now, honeybees do not make hives in animal corpses. So this story is purely legend. Now, it's borrowed from a Sumerian story of Shamash, a sun god, who was also worshipped by the Canaanites. Now, because the Canaanite religion influenced the Israelite religion, as the Israelites derived from the Canaanite people, this story of Shamash may have given rise to a female version of the sun god, which was worshipped by the Canaanites, named Shapshu, a goddess. Now, she was the daughter of El, the head father god, Elion, the father of Yahweh. So this would in turn be making her Yahweh's sister. Now, the story of Samson has other similarities with, say, Hercules, with the incredible strength, slaying a lion. Even Gilgamesh in the Sumerian legends slays a lion. Now, the Greek stories would have influenced the Jewish religion, as the Bible itself was written in Greek, so they would have added in things like the story of Hercules being swallowed by a sea monster, similar to Jonah being swallowed by the giant fish or whale in the same location, Joppa. Now, Enkidu also has similarities with his strength, as does Gilgamesh, say, with Samson. Now, these stories were being shared around multiple different communities. People of great strength, slaying 1,000 men, for instance, King Arthur. Now, though this is later, though there are stories of other folklore heroes and even gods that have done similar stories to, say, Samson. Now, in other Greek stories, we have Milo of Croton, who was most likely a historical figure, who was a Greek athlete, who apparently possessed incredible strength, as he carried a bull to the local stadium before sacrificing and eating it. Now, it was said that he was so strong, he was constantly trying to test his strength. He even dressed up like Hercules and carried a club in one of the Olympic Games he was participating in. Now, it was said that he tried to split a log in half with his bare hands, and his hands got stuck, and from there animals took advantage of him, say wolves, and ate him. So we have many tales of people possessing great feats of strength that were inspired by local lore and religion and history. Now, it was also said that Samson was basically raised to be a servant of God, that he was appointed a Nazirite, which was someone who didn't drink alcohol and kept their hair long and didn't touch their hair. Now, this also included facial hair. So they weren't allowed to even put a razor to their beard. So they had a strict law. So similar to the Essenes. Now from here, the story would continue that Samson there would take the role of a defender, defending the Jewish people from Philistinian raids and invasions. So taking on the role of a defender for the Jewish people. So in a turn, he would have been considered somewhat of a messiah even, as the Jewish people placed high hopes and love in those who defended them. Now, another reason I say this too was because it is said that during the time of these texts were produced, some Jews believed that Samson was a future Messiah figure going through the redemption. Now, Samson's name means Shemesh in Jewish, which means the sun. In turn, comes from Shamash, the sun god of the Sumerian beliefs. Now, this here is interesting, especially when you look at the inspiration which led to the creation of Shapshu, the feminine sun god of the Canaanite culture, which was the daughter of El, the head father god. Now, the reason for the stories of battles and warriors being favoured by God is due to Yahweh worship, the Yahweh cult. Now, Yahweh was a warrior and storm god, so he was worshipped by warriors, raiders, soldiers. Now, this being said, this is why these battles and praise by God and ordering of wars contribute to this same God is in the Bible, Yahweh. Now, his father was El, who in turn was the head father god of the Canaanite pathogen and also then the Hebrew gods, whose son was Yahweh. Now, there were some Jews who did not worship Yahweh, that did worship El. Some in turn only worship Yahweh. Some in turn worship both, seeing El as the head father god and Yahweh being his son. Now, some Canaanites even worshipped Jesus as Yahweh in the flesh and his father being El. Some Jewish people believe that Yahweh inherited Israel and its people from El. So peace and love, everyone. I love you all. Connect to all my mind and soul. Namaste.